Last time we talked about the platform Sutra, the encounter of the sixth patriarch and with the fifth patriarch, and how Master Huineng, the sixth patriarch, got enlightened, and what's going on with the rope and the bow. And now he's already, and after that, after 15 years of hiding, then he came back to teach everyone. And the first thing that he teaches this chapter called Prajna, which is referring to in English, it's called wisdom. So it goes like this. I'll read the text. The next day, Prefect Wei asked Master Huineng to benefit sentient beings by lecturing on the Dharma. The master ascended the lecture seat and informed the assembly, "You should all purify your mind and concentrate on the great perfection of wisdom, which is Mahaprajna Paramita." So the great perfection of wisdom, the term Mahaprajna Paramita that we are going to talk about. This chapter here is called Prajna. And actually here is Mahaprajna Paramita. So Master Huineng continue. Good friends, Bodhi is the wisdom of Prajna. People of this world possess it fundamentally and naturally. It is only because your mind are deluded that you are unable to become enlightened yourselves. You must rely on a great spiritual compatriot to show you how to see the nature. You must realize that there is fundamentally no distinction between the Buddha natures of the foolish and the wise. It is only because of delusion and enlightenment that you think they are different and that they are foolish and wise. I will now explain the teaching of the great perfection of wisdom for you, so that you will attain wisdom. Listen well and attentively, and I will explain this for you. So here, first of all, when Master Huineng addressed the whole assembly in such a way that is very humble, and he used this word, good friends. This is in translation into English. It's good friends. And what exactly is good friends? Well, in Sanskrit, the term is Kalyanamitra, or you put it, virtuous friends. What is the good friend? If there's a good friend, there must be a bad one. So good friends here referring to someone that help you into the good way, into learning about Buddhism, to behave well, to act well. And there is someone that you could learn from in many ways. So they all refers to good friends. This Kalyana Mitra could be your teacher in school, could be your friends, could be your wife or husband. Someone that you can learn from. But bad friends, and the bad one will lead you to do all kinds of bad things. Gambling, taking drugs, have some quarrel with someone, these bad things. So that's how we address it. But before we do that, before Master Huineng say something like this, good friend, then he said you should all purify your mind and concentrate on the great perfection of wisdom. So over here, you see that to begin with the talk, then one will need to really settle down one's mind. Just like in meditation. Actually, this is in a way is meditation. And since he's mentioning on this Mahaprajna Paramita, you could say that in purifying your mind, then in your mind you recite this Mahaprajna Paramita at least 3 times to settle your mind. Just like before we do meditation, when you sit down, we join our palms and we let our mind calm down in just 1 minute. So this is one way of letting ourselves calm down and work on our practice. Now over here, then the approach that Master Huineng teaching us is to contemplate on the great perfection of wisdom, which is in Sanskrit is called Mahaprajna Paramita. Of course, he will explain afterward what exactly is Mahaprajna Paramita. So he said that the body is the wisdom of prajna. Now, prajna, this word, is in Sanskrit. In English, then the translation is only on wisdom. But actually, prajna is something more in depth. It's not only just wisdom, but at the same time, wisdom with samadhi, which is a very profound state of deep concentration. And it's called, and this is the word, prajna. And he said, people of this world possess it fundamentally and naturally. It's almost like everyone has the Buddha nature. Everyone has the Buddha nature. in here is that we all have that fundamentally and naturally. It is just there. Now, why was it that we cannot feel it and we could not make use of it? Because our mind are deluded and we are unable to become enlightened to ourselves, which is we could not realize that because of the deluded mind. Deluded mind referring to the mind that is scattered, the mind that is with great hatred and ignorance, and we cannot see the reality. We cannot realize the true nature of ourselves. If that's the case, then he continued on. We must rely on a great spiritual compatriot. Now, again, this word here referring to Kalyana Mitra, the virtuous friends or the good friends. But this here with the word a great. What is it that is a great spiritual friend? Is the one that has the ability of helping you, guide you, help you, show you the way, so that you can see the nature of your own. Now, teaching itself, the teacher has the ability to see what is it that we need, the student needs. And what is it that he sees from his student that he's lacking of? And he also has the ability to guide you in this way. So that is the great spiritual, just say virtuous friend. Then continue on, you must realize that there is fundamentally no distinction between the Buddha nature of the foolish and the wise. It is only because of delusion and enlightenment that are different, and that they are foolish and wise. Well, fundamentally, everyone, every sentient beings possess that Buddha nature. But the difference is that one is already realized. The other one is not realized. Therefore, then comes the wise one and the foolish one. And you could say that the foolish one is the one that not enlightened, just like us. We are living in the world ordinary, just like ordinary people, with all the vexation, emotional affliction with us. And we are the one that we don't realize. So Master Huineng said that he will explain the teaching of the great perfection of wisdom for us. And you will all attain wisdom. And then listen well and attentively. I'll explain this for you. See, in the teaching, which is important, which is something precious. So the audience, they came to listen to the lecture of the great masters, using this attitude of listen well and attentively. Again, referring to something that we need some concentration. Our heart, our mind is totally put to that. Someone, the teacher, is teaching to us. This is the first one. And the second paragraph says, again, continue on. Master Huineng said, Kalyamita, people of this world always recite prajna with their mouth, but they don't recognize the prajna of the self-nature. This is like talking about eating, which doesn't satisfy one's hunger. If you talk about emptiness with your mouth, you won't be able to see the nature for a myriad eons. Ultimately, this is of no benefit at all. Well, in the beginning, he was saying that before his lecture, he was saying that you should purify your mind and concentrate on this great perfection of wisdom, right? And well, we could say that we practice in a way that we silently recite the word prajna paramita to settle our mind. And over here, he mentioned that people just recite the prajna with their mouth, but don't realize the prajna of the self-nature, which is by talking, but not really act accordingly to what is it that they are reciting for. You could say that reciting it in one way is reciting it, and then on the other hand is doing all the things that are in accordance with great hatred and ignorance. Therefore, just recite it by mouth, but you don't recognize the prajna of the self-nature. Again, we need to recognize this Buddha nature within ourselves. If not, then it is just like talking about eating. And you don't feel full. You don't satisfy your hunger. If you just talk, but not to practice, then it's just become talking. And it will take you a long, long time to come to a realization. Now here, a myriad eons is many, many years. So long that we can't even count how many years, how many days that you were doing it. And of course, there's no benefit at all. So this is the second. And then the third one, he continues saying, Prajna paramita is a Sanskrit word. Over here we say great wisdom going to the other shore. This must be practiced in the mind, not recited by the mouth. To recite it orally without practicing it in the mind is as unreal as phantasm or hallucination, and as a dew or lighting. To recite it orally and practice it mentally is for mind and mouth to correspond. The fundamental nature is Buddha. There's no other Buddha apart from this nature. So again, he starts to explain what is Maha Prajna Paramita. Maha means great. Prajna means wisdom. Paramita means going to the other shore. And this word here, with this, we need to practice, but not just by reciting it. If we just say it, but not practicing it, then it is like something unreal. It is like hallucination. And it is like the dew and the lightning. Now this here, hallucination, dew, lightning, actually you can see it. It's very much almost very similar to the teaching of in the Dharma Sutra, that all the conditioned Dharma is like what? Like a dream, like dew, like illusion. And one should contemplate on that, the so-called conditioned Dharma. And to recite it orally and practice it mentally is for the mind and mouth to correspond. So we say it, we talk about it, but our mind should be in accordance with what we said. And this so-called the nature of the Buddha, the fundamental nature of Buddha, is never apart from the Buddha. The Buddha is not, from something else, but the Buddha is right there with us. So continue on, he said, what is Maha? Sometimes people say Maha, and sometimes we say Maha. So that means great. The capacity of the mind is vast, like space, which is boundless. Space is also without square and round, large and small. It is neither blue, yellow, red, nor white. It is also without above and below, long and short. It is also without anger and without joy, without affirmation and without negation, without good and without evil, without beginning and end. The views of the Buddha are all identical to space. The wondrous natures of people of this world are empty, without a single Dharma that can be perceived. The emptiness of the self-nature is also like this. So this word Maha is great. Why is it so great? It is just like the capacity of the mind is so big. Big like what? A boundless space. And there is, important here is that there's no square, there's no round, so there's no shape. What is the shape like? And it is not a big one, a big shape or small shape. Neither. It is blue, yellow, red, or white. So first of all, it's the shape. Second thing is the color. There is no color. So it's not above or no, it's not below, long and short. And in here, the capacity of the mind is without joy, without anger. There's no confirming, there's no negation, and there's no good or bad. And interesting enough, no beginning and no end. So referring to time. One is the time, the other one is the space. And then the description of it is not even have emotion in there. So the fields of Buddha are identical to space. Now, we cannot, this is just an analogy of this capacity of the mind. It's like that. It's not like the real thing that with the space. But well, actually, this is just an analogy that space, it's all encompassing in there. So this wondrous nature of people of this world are empty. And there's no single Dharma that can be perceived. And the emptiness of the self-nature is also like this. So the Maha, the soul of the great, lead to this Buddha nature, the self-nature. It's just like that. Now from here, very clearly that we see that all this description of it is that you cannot really use words to describe, and do not think that there is a real thing that is out there. Because people often think that when we mention about Buddha nature, then people would say or would think that it must be a thing, a something. But actually, it's already transcend this so-called duality, right and wrong over here. Yeah, there's no anger or no joy, and no black and white, no long and short. It's right there. And exactly because of that, it is so-called great or Maha. And then further on elaboration, Master Huineng said, good friends, don't listen to me explain emptiness and then become attached to emptiness. The most important thing is not to become attached to emptiness. If you empty your mind and sit in quietude, this is to become attached to the emptiness of blankness. Now, because of this explanation, that is possible that when we meditate, we imagine about the state, or we perceive the sitting, oh, it's emptiness, there's nothing there. So we sit in quietude until we don't feel any wandering thoughts. And even the method that we use, the thought of using the method and thoughts of using method continuously, it's not there. And there's nothing else. And we think that this is the state of the emptiness because there's nothing there. So he pointed out that this is not right. And it's possible that when we meditate, we could come to a point where your mind is very quiet, very peaceful, and no other thoughts that is bothering you, not even the thought of the methods. And he said, this is like you are attached to the emptiness of blankness, nothingness. Then Master Huineng continued on. Good friends or virtuous friends. The space of this world embraces within itself the myriad things and all the image of form, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the mountains, river, and earth, the springs and stream that enrich the plants and forests, bad people and good people, bad dharmas and good dharmas, the heaven and hells, all the great ocean and the mountain, including Mount Sumeru. All of these exist within space. The emptiness of the nature of the people of this world is also like this. Further on, explaining what is the space that we perceive of, within the space. There are all the things out there. First of all, is our environment that we relying on. The environment includes moon, stars, the planets, other planets, then the mountain, the rivers, the earth that we live in, and springs and streams, and then plants and forests, and then people. Now, people here are inclusive, everyone. And the so-called bad dharmas and good dharmas. The heaven and hell, and referring to, like the cosmos that we're in. So all of these exist within space. So this nature of emptiness of the people of the world, it's just like that. It's just like this. So continue on, Master Huineng said, good friends or virtuous friends, that the self-nature can embody the myriad Dharma is great. The myriad Dharma are within people's nature. If one perceives the goodness and badness of people without ever grasping or rejecting the goodness and badness, one will not become tainted or attached. For the mind to be like space is called great. Therefore, it is said to be Maha. Now, continue on elaborating the self-nature. Self-nature is, it can embody the myriad Dharma, and because of that is called the great. It encompassing everything. And this myriad Dharma, all the phenomena are within people's nature, which is the nature of emptiness. Now, when we function in this world, if we see the good things that people do, the bad things that people do, but we are not rejecting, we are not grasping to them, and we are not attached to them or tainted to them, then the mind to be like a space is called great. And exactly, this is what Maha means. The great means. Continue on, Master Huineng said, virtuous friend, the deluded speak with their mouth, but the wise practice with their minds. Furthermore, they are deluded people who empty their minds and sit in quietude without thinking of anything whatsoever, claiming that this is great. You can't even speak to these people because of their false views. So one kind of people talking about this Maha, this great, and they don't practice, they talk. And then the wise one practice with their minds. And there are people who sit in quietude. Now, this is the second time that he mentioned about these kind of people that's sitting in there and empty out all the wandering thought within themselves. And they don't think of anything else. And they think that this is what's so-called great. Because they hold on to this idea so much that we can't even talk to them. Now, this could refer to people who practice and people who hold on certain view of themselves. And it's called, you could call it prejudice. One is very much hold on to one thing, this is my idea, or this is the teaching that I receive. then no matter what you say to them, they will not accept it. Or if they accept it, then they will accept in a way that they use their own prejudice to explain the Dharma. Therefore, you can't even really speak to them. It is because of their false views. Now, these false views could be many things. The view of so-called eternal, the view so-called terminate, the view so-called no causes and effects, and the view so-called they hold on to certain way of practice. And of course, even this world now, in the Buddha's time, there are people who practice in a way that they believe that they were born without clothes. So they will practice the so-called naked. And because of they think that if they are not wearing any clothes, then they eventually will return to the heaven or return to the realm that they're coming in. This is one kind of belief. And another kind of belief is that they're holding on to certain precepts. Say, for example, they will practice the so-called holding one hand, holding up one hand like this without moving. Not only just a few hours or 4 moments, but this becomes their practice. Just go like this. And what good is it? They could practice to certain concentration, but what good is it? So this is a false view that we talk about. Continue on. Virtuous friend, the capacity of the mind is vast and great, permeating the Dharma, which is the cosmos. Functioning, it comprehensively and distinctly respond to things. Functioning, it knows everything. Everything is the one mind. The one mind is everything. With mind and Dharma going and coming of themselves, the essence of the mind is without stagnation. This is praja. Now, first of all, it's the capacity of the mind is vast, it's great. And it includes all the cosmos permeating. That means it's free. There is no obstacles. And it is very clearly responding to things and know everything. So you could say that everything is one mind, and the one mind is everything. But here, remember, everything is one mind. If we just use one, everything is one mind, then you will become, if the understanding like this, a clock is one mind. A chair is one mind. A person is one mind. Everything is one mind. Everything is the mind. If we just show like this, then it won't work. because we know, every phenomenon has its own function, has its own place to function. And then if we just uses the mind is everything, then it becomes mind. The mind is a dog. Mind is a tree. And everything is. The mind is everything. Then again, it could be confusing if the mind is everything. Then how could it work? Therefore, in here it said everything is the one mind. And then the one mind is everything. It worked together. These two sentences work together. So with mind and Dharma going, coming of themselves, the essence of the mind is without stagnation. This is prajna. So there is no obstacle. It's just very free in functioning itself. And it's free that it comes, and it's free that it goes. And this is prajna. So I will stop here.